we are live. Nihon Sama here with Yules 1 and Starve Sanity. And y'all get to watch me play some of this game here, and we're going to talk about the game because all of us have gotten a platinum and beaten the game. And we wanted to share some thoughts as like a review and share what we like, dislike, what have you. So, where do y'all guys want to start?
First off, I'm really appreciative that we finally have something to get people interested in the earlier Kamakura period in Japan history.
Okay.
Though it may not be historically accurate, but when people talk about older Japan, medieval Japan, they always talk about the Warring States period or the Sengoku Jidai.
Right.
My armor will dull the Mongols' weapons.
So to have something from hundreds of years earlier,
Much better protection.
I think that's a big deal, and I think a lot of people who are fans of Japan, they don't really take the time to learn about this earlier period. So I think it's going to get a lot more people from around the world to learn more about this time.
Right. And I mean, this game makes you really feel not as a samurai, not just as a samurai, right? But the world in itself that they put you in, that they created here, makes you actually feel like you are in 1274.
Agreed. Apart from a few, like, liberties taken, but agreed.
I mean, this world is absolutely just gorgeous. I mean, look at this freaking sunset right here, or I guess that's the sunrise. I don't know. Depending on which way I'm looking at. Yeah, that's the sunrise. That's east. But yeah, I mean, take a few little liberties here. Like, there were no katanas until after the Mongol invasion. Like, what was it, like 50 years later or something like that? Or not even close?
No, about hundreds of years later. About three to 400 years later.
And Star, what do you think?
It's a good game.
Those people need help. I just hope
A very few words from a very short man.
If not,
Who needs help?
a camp of refugees. They're very sick. The healer Hanauka is trying to reach them.
That was a crack at me instead.
Its knees. And that's one of the roads. Healer will need
No, I absolutely love this game. I want to move on. I mean, what do y'all think of the graphics? Because some people are saying that it has a little bit of a cartoony art style to it. I don't see it personally, so I don't really know what they're talking about.
It's a very beautiful game, but I don't think it has a cartoony art style. But I do think it has a more old-fashioned gaming art style.
Honestly, when I look at the art style here, I mean, I'm just sitting here looking at the trees in the Golden Forest here, or Golden Temple. And what I see as far as art style, I see like classic Japanese paintings. That's what I see.
That's interesting. Kind of like sumie or ukiyo-e.
The brush
Kind of.
paintings.
Yeah, the watercolorings, the woodboarding.
Didn't they say they were inspired by Okami as well, Shadow Colossus?
I heard nothing of the sort.
Shadow of Colossus, it was inspired by. They also took inspiration from Red Dead, the first one, and what was the other inspiration? Oh, Zelda. But I don't know which Zelda. Is it the Breath of the Wild? It could be.
Hmm.
Does your bow need work, my lord?
They definitely cranked up the contrast and made the colors
You have my
really
thanks.
vibrant.
I agree. I mean, you turn around and I mean, you can just go anywhere on the map and you always find a new biome somewhere. You
My
know.
goodness. I used to think that Uncharted was the most colorful game of all time.
Yes, I agree. I mean, it, a lot of your games. Sorry, smoking a cigarette. A lot of your games that come out ever since last couple gens, between PS3 to PS4, it's like they only it's like they have one color, kind of. You know what I mean? Has a certain hue to it.
Agreed.
Hmm.
You can thank Gears of War for that.
I don't know. I didn't play it, so I know that Gears 5 looks as pretty an interesting art style and colorness to it, if you want to call it that.
Hmm.
Only from what I
Um,
have seen. Um, what else is there? The talk about controls. I have no problem. I'm riding a horse. I have no problem controlling the horse. The horse feels good. I mean, you hit the L3 once to gallop, and you can do a complete 180. He like hits the brakes and he goes in the opposite direction without any effort, right back into a gallop. I mean,
man, that horse can drift. That horse can drift.
play
That horse
friggin'
can power slide at times.
where's that deja vu song when we need it? I'm about to get into a fight here. Um, music. Oh my god, I just started a fight, and the songs that they play when in battle, or just the music cues while following a fox to a shrine. Everything about the soundtrack is absolutely phenomenal. You can actually find a soundtrack completed on Spotify, uncompressed, and the soundtrack is absolutely flawless. Like, and it's not just the soundtrack too, just everything. I mean, you can hear the wind going through the leaves of the trees, the grass. Like everything has a sound design to it at some sort.
And the
Yes.
3D audio is really good too.
Yes, the 3D audio really does help.
That 3D audio is amazing. I just wonder how further they're gonna enhance it on PS5.
And with the new controller, I'm really interested in how that's going to act too.
Doing good, Sora.
Yeah, they said they want to work with the haptic feedback, and I can see how they would use that.
Kind of wondering if it's going to have like a cold and hot sensor thing. Like, I don't know how it would work. Like, if it's cold in the environment, the controller would feel cooler, or if it's warm, it would feel warmer. I mean, are they doing it to that degree.
Hmm.
I mean, because I really don't know what haptic feedback is. It's. I mean,
Haptic feedback is something beyond rumbles. It's basically sending electronic pulses
hmm
to your skin to simulate different kinds of feeling.
Oh, good. Shock therapy.
Simulating temperatures, simulate gravel, simulate whatever it is.
Wind blowing through over your skin, or maybe something like that. Um, but yeah, going back to the sound though, like the bamboo has a sound to it when you pick it up. I mean, something as simple as that, it has a sound, you know.
Yeah.
Come here and fight.
Like right here, I go into a standoff, and there's a music cue, like you're going into an epic battle, you know. What else is there? Let's talk about the story. What likes and dislikes?
There were a couple of dislikes that I had. The Sensei Ishikawa storyline, the closure with Tomoe.
Okay, yeah, I didn't like that storyline either. I just couldn't connect with Sensei Ishikawa as a character. I couldn't connect to him. He came off as a jerk.
Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, he is a sensei, so his job is to lecture, but I don't want to be lectured. I'm a darn samurai, dang it. I know how to fight. Heck, the game teaches you how to use a bow, and he lectures you how to use a bow. Like, what about Yuna? Let's go with Yuna.
I don't have any problems with Yuna. I think Yuna was very nice. Very nice addition. She didn't intrude on the story. She wasn't the focus of the story. She was a bit of a... she was important to the story. She metaphorically killed off one samurai and creating the ghost.
Yeah, I could see that.
How about Sucker Punch finally giving us a game where we can swim?
Yeah, really.
My goodness, that is such a game changer. It's the most revolutionary thing I've ever seen.
Did they hurt you?
They burned my farm at the river path. Between Tsutsu.
The water's actually
You
really...
can see their men from the
I
cliffs
didn't
above.
appreciate it so much before, but
I'll have a look.
it actually really does look good.
There's something interesting about the water in this game, and I can't really pinpoint it because it is gorgeous to look at, but I feel like the physics are not there.
Like I said, it's very gamey.
Yeah.
The thing they did right is the shadows, how the shadows fall on top of the water as well as on the bottom of the
But you know, there's
body
something
of water.
about the buoyancy of the water. Whenever I start swimming out in the ocean, it feels so intimidating, right? Even though the only time I'm gonna get hurt is if I go underwater for an extended period of time, but when I'm start swimming out past the shores, right, and a big wave comes in, even though I'm supposed to remind myself nothing is gonna happen, it just feels so engulfing at times. Just that brief moment of the wave just taking you up and down. It's just, oh,
It, what I like about, we're on the topic of water now. What I do like about the water, which I found out yesterday, or I noticed rather, is when you're near the water and there's a bunch of trees and the leaves are falling off the trees in the water, they actually land on top like real leaves that they would on water, and they would actually float down the current like they really
Hmm.
would.
yes.
I didn't notice that. That's a good detail.
It's really cool. And what and on top of it, talk about contrast here. What they managed to do is really a yin and yang, which I know is a Chinese thing and not a Japanese thing, as I'm aware of.
Hmm.
As beautiful as this world is, they still managed to put the darkness and tone where it needs to be, as what the game is really trying to portray. I mean, I'm at this shrine right here. Obviously, I can't finish it because I don't have a certain item. But look at it. You got a dude hanging by his neck from a tree and a woman hanging from her legs. But at the same time, you look around and it's breathtaking.
Hmm.
I just think that contrast they did so well. At least those two people died in a good spot to look at the sunset, I guess.
Mm. Mm.
I
And
like these rolling fields where you just stand here and look at the grass.
oh
The whole
yeah,
field, the grass blows.
and the fact that if you walk real slowly, he'll like put his hand out and touch the tops of the grass.
Mm.
They call it pampas grass in the game. I don't know if it's a real name for it.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. But yeah, he'll actually reach out and just kind of like brush the tops of the grass if you walk real slow. He also does it on horseback as well, which I thought was kind of cool. You actually see that in the opening sequence,
Mm.
and it's just little animations like, oh my god, look at this! It's just little animations like that, and just the little things. It's the little things that just adds to a whole experience, you know?
Yeah.
Noise came from over there. Worth a look. The cowards.
I do like that I remember that the first time I saw Jin touching the pampas grass was at the very title sequence
Yeah,
at the beginning of the game.
that's what I'm saying. You see that at the beginning, but yeah, he will constantly do it though. From time to well, not constantly, but from time to time he'll do it, and you really notice it when you're just walking instead of just trotting along.
Hmm.
Gods will investigate all
I just
sides.
unlocked my wind chimes.
These chimes can be a distraction. Or lure.
What else is there? Going back to the story. I want to talk about the main story. I mean, Is there anything in particular that stands out in the main story?
Negatively or positively?
Negatively.
Um, Actually, I got nothing.
I think it was. I think it's good. It really is good. Like
I have a negative.
Uh-oh.
Well,
They
he
killed my
wanted to
damn
live up to
horse.
his.
Oh
Damn.
yeah. Yeah, let's talk about this. Okay, so we all had experiences with video games as the last couple generations where game developers have a knack for killing our darn horses. What's up with that?
What's up with that?
Yes, yeah, spoiler warning, your horse does die like 1/3 through the game, and you get stuck playing with another horse. Good thing her name wasn't Abby.
Ugh.
Um, and yeah, I actually thought it was a very emotional moment because, like, you get attached to your horse and they take it away. That's how you subvert expectations and do shock value because you don't see this coming, right?
Right.
Well, I remember Yules actually. He was at a loss when he saw the first horse in the game that you lose on the
Man.
beach. When you come back to visit the beach later, you see the horse is still there. And
Yes.
Jin actually comments on it when he sees him.
Yes. And the fact that they actually let you, like,
That whole scene was very
it's
say disturbing. I mean, it is kind of disturbing, but it's very sad.
yes.
Revisiting the beach where the opening of the game took place.
Yes, which brings up a character. You do that during Masako's storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, Masako, that female companion you saw in the 2018 E3 trailer, she's fully fleshed out.
Oh my God, she is. And what she goes through and what she finds on the beach with her sons is heartbreaking because they didn't even die honorably. I mean, they were hung from a tree. That's not a way to go as a samurai or a warrior. You want to die in battle, but no, they were captured and hung.
Or a human being, for that matter.
This is true. And yeah, Moscow has a really sad storyline for sure. It was really heartbreaking.
A lot of the stories in the game were sad, but it's not like gut wrenching. Well, it does pull at your heartstrings, but it's not like gut wrenching, like depressing. You have a lot of fun playing the game.
Oh,
You're
you
not,
mean
it's
you
not
mean
just
you mean like a certain
overwhelmingly
other pain?
depressing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I. When Masako found her, these were my emotional moments. When found her sons hanging from the tree in that storyline, like, I actually cried during that scene. I cried when, again, soon after, about the horse, because that was just sad. It really was. But the biggest one that hit me was Taka.
That poor boy. That poor boy.
I mean, I feel like you don't get to know him like very. You don't get to know him very much, I would say. But the time that you do spend with him and you do get to know him, you feel him. Okay, hang on. You really do get attached to his character.
Swinging. He went out swinging.
Yes, he. What's the term for that? He not only did he go out swinging, but there's something else that I want to add to that. Like, and I can't think of the phrase to put it. He went out being the warrior that that he wanted to be. Like, he looked up to Jin, and he wanted to be
Yes.
stronger. That was his character. He wanted to be not just a blacksmith. He wanted to be a warrior.
Sorry, dealing with a storm here. I lost my connection.
That's fine. But we're talking about Taka starved,
Oh, yeah.
and like I said, he not only did he go out swinging, but he went out as a warrior, and he looked up to Jin as being this not a god, but a hero,
A hero.
as a role model.
Role model. A great liberator.
He also proved to his sister what she wouldn't admit about him.
Oh yes, yeah, because she was always protective over him, and I think she looked at him as a bit of a coward. I think.
I think she sheltered him a little too much.
Yeah. And there he goes again.
But that situation was very sad.
Yes, I actually cried. It was my Kashiwagi moment.
Kashiwagi from Yakuza.
Yes, he was actually a character that I was really interested in getting to know. That I was hoping that would stay as a main character.
Then Yakuza 3 happened.
Yeah, then Yakuza 3 happened. And they kill him off. I'm like, no, that's not cool, man. Not cool. But they did they treated the character with respect, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so another character that I want to talk about too is Koten Khan. I like him as a villain. I do. I thought he was a villain. There's not much more to say to that. I mean, it's not like your typical boss fight at the end, to where it's just some scrawny guy that doesn't know how to fight, and he just sends his minions in waves and waves, and you take a couple of shots at him afterwards, and he'll send more waves at you, like as a coward. No, Koten Khan, he can, as a boss fight, he can hold his own.
Mm-hmm.
He really is a threat, and it's not just some. And the thing too is, it's not some cliched big guy that's just to be dumb, like a tank. You know, he's a big dude. He can fight, and he's smart.
He's a manipulative bastard. He's a manipulative bastard.
Yes. I mean, what was the character's name? Ryuzo, or how you pronounce it?
Ryuzo?
Yes.
Ryuzo.
Man, what he did to that guy to freaking have the gates open to Castle Shimura. was just so. It was gut wrenchingly cringe. It was cringe, but not like cringe as in a negative way. It was cringe onto the point. It's like, dang, this is messed up kind of cringe. I mean, what would you do in that situation, kind of thing, you know?
Well, if you were not weak-minded like Ryuzo, you would not have joined up with Colton Khan in the first place.
This is true. I mean, he could have easily avoided that situation altogether, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, which brings up another faction. You don't just fight Mongols in this game. You also fight other samurai, Ronin, or even bandits. Bandits is a thing in this game that are, also from Tsushima. So they are
Yeah,
natives.
Mongols, bandits, and Ronin.
Yes. Which I think Ronin and Straw Hats are the one and the same.
I don't know about that.
But if you think, if you haven't played this game yet, and if you think that the Mongols are a formidable opponent, wait until you fight the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats are probably the hardest enemies in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And, Koten Khan himself is a walkthrough by the time you get to the end of the game, because by the time you get there, you're maxed out on everything, right? You got all your skills and trickery and everything. But nothing compares to the Ronin fights. Which segues into the duels, the boss fights. Oh my God, they are incredible. Whoa!
They range from silly to amazing to
As a WTF moment.
to heartstring pulling.
Yes. And a WTF moment, like that one guy that it goes into the duel stances, like the little cut scene and everything, right? And it goes through all of that, and as soon as you're about ready to fight him, he backs off like. Right now I'm fighting a bear, so bear with me. And he got me. God dang it. Oh no, he's going to toss me. Ah! There we go. Alright. Both bears are dead.
Can I ask this?
Yes.
Have you ever been so successful in cutting bamboo so fast, right, that you left one of them still standing, even though you successfully cut all of them?
No, I never done that because they usually just fall off.
Because here's a little secret. The speed in which you press the buttons in the sequence also determines the speed of your slice. Twice now, I have cut all 7 bamboo, right, so fast that one is actually still standing, just leaning over.
I did not know that. Yeah, I did not know that at all. That's cool that they added that.
Oh yeah. It's amazing.
Which I guess we can talk about that too.
7.
Is the mini games. So we talk about briefly about the bamboo strikes. What the bamboo strikes actually do is they give you resolve when you complete them, right?
Yes.
Which resolve will allow you to do more special moves. Which you got the heavenly strike, and I can't remember the name of the the better one that takes the 3 resolve.
Same here.
So it does that. Then you got the hot springs, which you will get a lot of man booty in your gameplay. You get a lot of so what that does, it actually boosts your health ever so slightly, but do it because it's actually worth it on the long run. For gaining health and whatnot, and then you got the haiku spots, which are the most interesting. I never experienced a mini game like any of these in any game, right? And the haiku spots are really cool because you're actually rewarded with a bandana or headband that has the haiku that you write on. So you go to this spot and you look at the scenery, and oh my god, does it give you the most beautiful friggin' shots when you do the haikus?
Yeah.
And so you do these, and they put you in the most beautiful spot, and you look around until you find the spot that you want, and it has a phrase to it, and you click on it with the X button, and it takes you to another spot. And when you do these, when you finish it, which I think is like a set of 3, it'll go back into a cinematic showing you better shots of all the other shots that you just seen, but from different angles, and it gives you a headband. It's like, what other game does that?
That's actually interesting because I haven't played a game yet that rewards you for being cultured.
You uncultured swine! We will not reward you.
I mean, come on. When was the last time there was a poetry mini game?
Yeah, I don't think there ever was. And the haters say that there's no innovation to this game.
Well, I know why the haters say that. Oh, I know exactly why, but that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah.
Speaking of cultures,
this game brings a lot of innovation into stuff that we haven't seen before. We just talked about the haikus. The bamboo strikes is another thing where you go into a series of Konami codes, if you will. And our friend Starved is having a hard time staying in. He's got a storm overhead.
Konami code. Up, up, down, down, left, right, kill, kill.
And so you're rewarded with the bamboo strike and the haiku spots. It's like, dang, man, you don't see this in other games. And you want to talk about that there's no innovation. You're using nature. I'm following a fox right now. You're using a fox as a guide to get you to a shrine to open up more charm slots. And you pray at the shrine. And then you can pet the fox, 10 out of 10. You can pet the fox.
Yes.
See, I can prove it right now. See? petting the fox. Then I'm going to kick him off a cliff,
So
just for good measure.
You are, man.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And then you got these birds. These birds guide you to different spots. You know, we talk about the haiku spots, right? But they also take you to the bamboo strikes and other goodies that's out in the open, like these shrines of honor that would have like a sword kit. You could customize your sword the way that it looks.
Yes.
Any other friggin' developer would charge you for stuff like that.
Don't give them ideas.
And there's but yet this game has no innovation, right? And there's no map. I mean, you got the little thing that tells you where you're going and how far you are from it. But once that disappears, look at this. There's no mini map to follow. You use the wind to guide you through everything. Literally everything. But there's no innovation.
That's what the reviewer says. There's no innovation. There's nothing new. It's generic. Samey.
Yeah, really.
And I know the real reason why they're saying that too. But again, I'm saving that for another video.
I agree. Which does bring up to review scores. I think compared to a previous certain game that we will not talk about on this channel, I think the fans have spoken as to what they want in a game.
You go ahead thinking, I know the fans have spoken on this game.
What's wrong with having just a fun game where the game actually knows that it's a game? You know what I'm saying? Why does everything got to be so friggin'? Oh, we gotta teach you a lesson about having fun in games. Like, how dare you have fun? No, you need to be beat over the head with the friggin' morality stick.
Certain people's definition of morality.
This is true.
Isn't the game more of like an infomercial for a HBO series or something?
I'm sorry, what?
I mean, they threw away all the old ideas from the original, and it seems like more of just a prelude to the series they want to bring out on television.
I told you we're not talking about that game.
Yeah. But yeah,
the weather. If you want to talk about the weather,
The weather is phenomenal.
the dynamic changing weather.
yes, what's really cool about the weather, and you really won't notice this right away unless somebody pointed out to you, is the weather actually is dependent on your playstyle. Like, if you go more as Ghost, it'll be constantly more stormy and rainy. Or if you go Samurai, it's more sunny and bright. But I do want to go back to what I was saying, the point that I was making about the review scores, is not only has fans spoken up that unanimously that this is a good game. But I do think that at 80, what is it, 87 or 83?
83.
I'm maybe just me being a fanboy. I feel like that's a little low.
Oh, it's definitely low. And I know why, but I'm saving that for another video.
Right. But yeah, going back to what Star wanted to bring up about the weather is you have a flute in your accessories. You unlock these songs for the flute by collecting crickets in graveyards. These songs actually change the weather. Like, let me go ahead and show y'all an example here, right? So, right now I got the sun's warm embrace, which that just makes it sunny and it clears skies. Lamont of the storm. I think this one makes it rainy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can literally see the clouds roll in and it starts to get thundering and lightning.
It's wonderful.
Can y'all guys confirm whether or not, no pun intended, if the stormy clouds or whatnot, when it's thundering or lightning, that it actually affects the hearing of the enemies when you're trying to sneak around in camps and whatnot?
Actually, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't answer that.
I mean, granted that we can agree that when it comes to enemy detection, they are hard of hearing to begin with. Like,
yeah, I never really had them notice me by hearing me, really. But then I am pretty stealthy usually. So.
Right. But yeah, you got stormy weather, you got sunny weather, very rainy, very rainy and stormy, and then when you get into the north, you get snow, which is I'm very surprised that even you would think in the open wilderness of anything that's icy and snowy, that it's just basically a white wonderland. But somehow another Sucker Punch managed to add color to it. That would make sense. On top of the how dare I say whiteness.
Can we talk about how instantaneous the fast travel is?
Yes. My God, the fast travel is truly fast.
Forget about that. This is the fastest loading PS5 exclusive, PS5, PS4 first party game ever.
Yes.
It is. It's super fast. I never had such an easy time jumping around the map to go after collectibles and things. It's just like fast travel, you're there.
You would like to finish.
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
I mean, you don't even have time to read the tips on the loading screen. That's all. It's like you get through half the sentence and that's it.
And it's interesting because God of War had this, like, when you fast travel, you got to use it like these realm between realm kind of things. You go through this door, but it takes a while for the door to even open up for you because it's loading the realm between realms, and you walk into it, and then you're running around this little circular area, and then you're waiting for the portion of the map that you're trying to fast travel to in the background while you're running around in a circle. Like this, or Horizon Zero Dawn, where when you fast travel, you got this really long loading bar at the bottom of the screen, right? And it's like, wait a minute, I'm fast traveling. Why am I still waiting 3 minutes to fast travel because of a loading screen?
I know, right?
Like, it's in a lot of cases you fast travel, even if it's a short distance, you still got to wait for a loading screen before you spawn again, right? And this game doesn't do that. Like, I'm gonna, matter of fact, I'll fast travel to one of these camps just to prove how fast this really is. And all you got, and that's another thing. There's no extra button press or anything. You just see. Look at that. I'm there. Did y'all see that loading screen? Did you see what the tip said? Because I sure the heck didn't.
No, it's really amazing.
And I'm kind of wondering if they might be using some kind of trickery that they are secretly learning from the PS5 into the PS4. I mean, software based, that is.
My services.
Man,
I mean,
I don't know, but when I think of fast travel, I keep thinking back to Final Fantasy VII Remake. I love that game, but when you fast travel and it takes over half a minute to load from one end
Samurai.
of the area to the other,
yes. Let me go ahead and grab some arrows and pull.
I mean, I could listen to I can almost listen to an entire song that's playing in the background before the load finishes.
Yes.
Do you need anything, my lord?
This here, you can, unlike this game here, you do the fast travel, and like Starv said, you don't even have a chance to friggin' read what's on the screen, because it literally is pretty darn quick.
I just don't know how they achieved that without the new enhancements to the PS5.
But that's the funny thing.
What do we
What's
need
it
that
gonna be
for?
like
They've
on
already achieved
PS5?
Well,
Well, I
I
assume
mean,
that they had limitations with this game because they made it able to load that quickly. So they had other limitations because. So imagine what they could do with PS5 without the limitations of how fast it's loading on PS4.
yeah, really.
You have my thanks.
Well, that's what I was saying, mate. I think they did some kind of a trickery that they learned from working on the PS5. We know darn well they're working on something on top of them working on this. I mean, there's no doubt about that, right? So I'm thinking that they learned something within the software-wise and development. They did something to make the fast travel in this game quick.
It seems like the collective Sony first party have shared their work and come up with the best solutions.
Yes.
And this is the best yet in putting together all those solutions.
Well, whatever they did, when it comes to on a technical level, this game really is amazing. I mean, granted that The Last of Us 2, which we won't go into a whole lot of detail, had some pretty impressive stuff on a technical level. We can't deny that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Trade is difficult in these times, my lord.
And Sony has been really just innovating left and right with when it comes to games.
I can't wait for next gen.
And okay. That's another thing that I want to talk about. Like we're trying to talk about every little thing we can here.
Horse.
Starved, you have played Red Dead Redemption. How do you feel about being able to actually what am I trying to say? Being able to like go through the forests and pick up bamboo without going through an animation to slow you down.
Yeah, that's yeah, I think they learned that lesson from what Horizon did, because initially that game didn't have the ability to pick things up while riding a mount, for instance. And
Oh
it's just
yeah.
something that makes it more fluid and easier on the player. And you can just pick things up as you run by it or while you're on your horse. So it's actually pretty nice. Instead of having to get off the horse and then go through this little animation of him picking up one flower and doing that over the course of a game every single time you do it, it's like probably tend to spend like hours just picking flowers when it could take you, no time.
Right. Or even skinning animals, because you got pigs and bears in this game that you got to click skins off of so you can upgrade the amount of kunai and arrows and such, right? Like there's no.
I did actually like that in Red Dead because how detailed the skinning animation actually is. But it's not necessary. It's just kind of unnecessary, really.
Right, and that's one thing. Like the game, though. That's what I was saying. That the game knows that it's a game. It's not trying to be realistic on a technical level when it comes to animations and whatnot.
Well, there's a point where you have to gauge between realism and fun, and Red Dead takes the fun out of it by going too far with realism a lot of the time.
Right. And I just think that's a neat detail to point out.
Like the fast travel, for instance, in that game takes a long time. You got to set up your little camp, and then you got to go back to the map, and then the loading screens in that game pretty
well, all pretty much. We can agree with when it comes to Rockstar games, they are not necessarily the quickest to load initially when it comes to the games. They are probably the longest game.
It's a gorgeous game.
Yes.
No doubt about that. But this game is gorgeous as well. I don't really know how they achieved what they did here and had it load so quickly. It's just amazing. And if you look at it technically against like a game like Witcher 3, this game looks better than Witcher 3, but it doesn't have any of the performance issues. It loads, as fast as you can imagine.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it is because of my PS4 being the base PS4. I haven't heard anybody else having this problem, but I do know that the game crashed a lot on me. That's until up to the point where I actually did a restore, if you will. These friggin' bears, quick, get away from me. But the game has crashed on me quite a few times.
It seems like a kind of odd and consistent thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because some games will crash for people a lot and then other games won't. It seems to be like player to player kind of different thing going on.
Yeah. Kind of wondering if it might have something to do with maybe how much stuff you have on the hard drive, or I don't know, just throwing stuff at the wall.
I think it does have to do with rebuilding the database, because it's almost like defragmenting your hard drive if you
Yes.
install a lot of things and delete a lot of things.
Or power randomly going out because of storms. What else is there? The map size. Right now, this is just the first part of the map. I haven't even gotten to the second or third part of the map. This map is freaking huge. It is really, really huge.
I just found another one of those signs on the pier.
Right. And I just, there was one at a fox shrine that I just bowed to. Just to show that. And, yeah,
It's the only way in the game you'd see a fish jump, and yet... it's a joy to see it.
And fish can't jump.
I mean, jumping out of the water.
And they say that fish can drown, but I digress.
It's somewhat like a hidden feature.
Well, it's actually required for a trophy to do those little bowing shrines.
Yeah.
You gotta find... Thank God you gotta find 10.
They're kind of silly, but... I don't know, they kind of make you smile. It's like...
Yes.
A little kind of treat.
Come and fight!
What do y'all guys think about the combat?
Stealth
Real
is really
fluid.
easy.
It's
Regular
easy.
combat is so satisfying. And it's so simplistic, and there's an easy mode. Thank goodness there's an easy mode.
I almost want to say that they went with the Insomniac route when Insomniac did Spider-Man when it comes to the combat. And what I mean by that is it's easy to learn, but hard to master.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably got well over 100 hours into this game already, and I haven't even mastered the combat yet.
I don't know what you're waiting for, but get to it.
Get
There's
good.
a lot of options. I mean, like we were talking about before. I mean, you can build a loadout basically that takes advantage of certain weapons over others. You can have a build for like archery, or if
Oh
you
yeah,
want to
that's
use
right.
kunai specifically, or
You
you
can
terrify the
do
enemies.
you can do a build where you don't even need your sword or your bow. You can just use the ghost weapons and just wreck people with it. I mean, you can go that route. Like you said, you can do your archery, or you can do a tank build, or a fear build. I want to do a fear build at some point, where you can just terrify the crap out of them. Which is a very unique, interesting concept, the way I'm playing, because the animations are actually quite hilarious when you terrify your enemies.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, this guy's trying to get me.
Which, and that's another thing too, when it comes to the combat. The fact that the bodies actually take time before they fall.
That's actually straight out of the movies, though.
Yes.
That's straight out of samurai films.
And I want to say that's almost more realistic.
Yeah, bodies shouldn't immediately drop the way they do in video games. I mean, it's the same thing.
I mean, there is a silly moment when you get the longbow where you basically friggin' snipe a dude, but it's like a shotgun blast. And sends them
Stay away,
flying
my lord.
off like, say, a perch or
Spirits
something.
of vengeful samurai haunt this forest.
Yeah, I don't want to do this mission quite yet. This mission's a little annoying. I want to go somewhere else. Shoot. Let's do this one.
What was another thing?
Yeah, you could. So you can customize your character when it comes
Really customized, like a lot of customization.
Yes. Yeah. Not only is it based on your playstyle as to what your character will look like, but you can fine tune. You get these dye flowers. If you're watching the stream, you probably saw me pick up a few, and you can further customize the way you look. And there's a few other things like out in the open world where you get these sword kits and bandanas or headbands, you want to call them.
What is this place?
And along with like straw hats and other stuff, right? I mean, they really went out on the customization. I mean, you can run around in your underwear at the end of the game.
With a basket on your
I
head.
thought
With a
you
basket
were
on your head.
But you're another samurai.
Stark, he does that in real
Welcome,
life.
my lord.
Samurai.
You haven't heard of Lord Jindoku?
We still making
He's a
jokes at the
legendary
tin guy
I'd
again.
like to meet him. When will he return?
Soon, join us for dinner. Perhaps he'll share one of his grand stories with you.
So funny.
What else is there? The amount of different biomes is actually pretty darn crazy.
Oh, I wasn't expecting a visitor. We're happy to have you, of course.
Like you start out in an open field of pampas grass, right?
It was a fierce battle, wasn't it?
And then you go straight into a forest that looks like it's made out of solid gold.
He fought at Komodo.
There's a field full of purple flowers. There's actually a mission where you gotta follow blue flowers.
Please have nabe.
You know, there's just so much different variety and
Please follow me, my lord.
what's the word? Diversity when it comes to what the world looks like, depending on where you are, is absolutely phenomenal.
How much do you know of Lord Jinroku?
He tells us everything. If it wasn't for him, we would have lost the whole island.
When you met him, was he armed?
He gave everything.
So,
to
what
Tsushima.
has there anything that we haven't talked about?
It's at the stables.
My bath can wait. I want to look at his
Oh,
horse.
I don't know. Talked about the weather. Talked about, wanted to talk about some more negative aspects of the game, like, how many horses do you go through in this game's story?
Normal tools.
Um,
Nothing out of the ordinary.
1, 2, I want to say 3 total.
Yeah. I mean, two of them get killed. The other one's just thrown away.
Horse.
Third
Never
one.
seen battle.
Well, yeah, you get the one at the very beginning of the game. Right off the bat, he gets killed. Then the second one that you get, that what you actually get to name your horse.
Samurai.
Naughty Dog, take notes on this. You name your horse and you get comfortable with said horse that becomes a character. Just have it killed off. If you know where I'm going with this, then a cookie for you. And then that horse gets replaced by
He left quickly after
a
you
horse with
answered the
no
bath.
name.
He must have been important.
I'll find it.
Literally. And then once that horse is gone, the horse with no name, you eventually get replaced by a horse with a name that you do get reattached to, and that's the rest of your game. Which, I don't know. I mean, would you consider that a negative thing?
I don't know.
I'm actually at a loss as to what I'm doing in this mission. I gotta track this guy, but I totally forgot how to do it. I'm having a brain fart, so we'll just stop here and look at the sunset. Negatives that I have, I don't like the action button be tied to the stance wheel, which that's another thing that we hadn't talked about in the combat, is you do have different stances, which you learn from watching war generals. Watching and beating war generals, you earn stances, which stances are connected to a certain enemy type, and they're fully upgraded in the technique system. I actually lost my train of thought. Where was I going, Yules?
I don't know. Shoot.
I actually lost my train of thought. I feel like an idiot. I segued into stances off of something else, and I was going to go back to that, but I forgot what I was talking about.
That's an interesting about the combat. I mean, as much variety as the combat adds with the stances and the strategies that you can do for aggression, if you're really good at defense, you don't actually have to worry about other battle tactics.
This is very true. This is very true. Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. I was talking about the stances in reference to the hold on a minute. I was talking about the R2 button. I don't like the R2 button being tied to the same button to changing stances, because a lot of times it got me in trouble to where I go to change a stance, and by hitting the R2 button, but instead there'd be like an item laying on the ground, and Jen would just pick up the item instead of allowing the friggin' the stance wheel to open up.
Yes.
I don't like that. What else that I don't like? I have ran into some bugs, which obviously can be patched. The game has crashed on me a few times.
I've ran into some bugs myself. Those display cubes
Yes,
in place of the items, I showed you pics of those.
yes.
But I think they finally fixed those with the latest update.
Right, so that's a good thing. So it's something that they were probably aware of. I actually wound up with this interesting glitch. It was actually hilarious. That I was fighting an enemy, and he was slightly more of an incline than I was, in a camp, and somehow or another, Jen did this elevator glitch, wound up 20 feet in the air, and when he dropped and landed it, he actually got hurt. But so yeah, the game is not perfect when it comes to bugs. They said in an interview that they are working on that.
Yeah.
Another thing that's annoying is going from traveling between maps. I would like to be able to travel from like the middle and second map to the first map, but there's a place right here called Castle Canada. Once you get to a certain
Will you
point,
stop saying it like that?
I wasn't making any kind of a pun to it.
Oh.
All right, fine, Castle Canada.
Canada. Canada. Canada. Canada!
So after a certain point, you get into the second and third maps throughout the story, right? But the problem is you can't go from one map to the other without fast traveling, because the castles are actually locked out. You are locked out of the castles of traveling through it, and it's your only way through. But you are locked out of it, so you got to fast travel. I think it would have made more sense if they were actually open when you reach the end of the game, to where you can travel right on through instead of having to fast travel. Because I try to refrain from fast traveling too much, just to give more to the game or longevity.
Agreed.
But yeah, let's see what else do I don't like. I have more likes than dislikes, to be honest. I can't think of anything that I really don't like. Looking around the map to see maybe if there. Oh, the Tales of Tsushima, which are the little side quests you do, which I'm on right now. I just kind of paused
Now,
it.
the story ones or the divine ones?
The white ones. I appreciate that they have their own unique tales, and you do get rewards for them. But in the end, they are just fetch quests or investigation quests.
Yeah.
Which, it's fine. I just wish that there was more of a variety to it. So there's that. I really can't say what quests or any negatives at this point. I mean, it's like this game was meant for me. I really love this game. If I had to give it a rating, it would be a 10 out of 10. I mean, I know it's not perfect, but has there ever been a 10 out of 10 game that is perfect?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the game got a friggin' 40 out of 40 on Famitsu magazine.
Famitsu.
Yes, thank you for correcting me on that.
How much you got on Famitsu?
40 out of 40.
A Western? Wow. Wow, that is impressive.
And there's only two other games that got a perfect score from that magazine, which one being Skyrim and the other Grand Theft Auto 5.
Interesting.
For some reason or other, the Japanese market liked Grand Theft Auto 5. Which I don't like the game, but it is what it is. I'm trying to find where this guy went. And now that it's... God dang it. It's just a phenomenal game. There's really not much in the way of negatives that I can think of, Yules.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big deal, man. That's a big deal.
Did it go down this way? I don't know. I can't remember which way it went. I did this mission before, but I can't remember. And now that it's dark, I can't see a thing. I know there's footprints somewhere that I'm supposed to find. He's here somewhere. Oh, right. Maybe I ought to look at the stables. Or something. I can't remember. I got CRS. Can't remember. Shiza.
Man.
Oh, wait. Here's tracks right here. Okay, he went this way. Alright, finally found it. This is a funny story, by the way. This is the one I was talking about earlier.
We need to talk. Stop running, you fool!
And anything else to talk about, Yules?
Stop! Before
Not that
it's
I
too
know
late.
of.
Oh yeah, the Inari shrines, the Kami shrines, that you follow the Torii gates. Oh my god, the climbing mechanics are wonderful.
Stop!
Yeah, they're very, very good and simplistic.
And the locations that it takes you through to get to these shrines, you just get amazing views. Like, the draw distance is absolutely phenomenal.
If that's your wish, I accept.
Yeah, I'm about to do a duel. Do a duel. Yeah, you go into these little cutscenes like this, right? And it's like a Kurosawa mode. Actually, I'll put it on Kurosawa mode real quick. And that's because that's something else that we have to talk about. Kurosawa mode is absolutely friggin' awesome because look at this. They added a film grain effect with extra wind. And it's so cool.
Wait, I don't want to die. I surrender. I'm sorry.
Tell me who you really are.
I'm nobody. I was just trying to survive.
You're impersonating a samurai and bringing dishonor to the name. You're taking advantage of those women.
I know. Please, my lord, let me live. I'll never go back there again.
Leave. If I ever see you wearing that armor again, we'll finish our duel.
The voice acting. That's another thing that I was wanting to point out. People complain about the Japanese voice acting and the lip sync. They, you know, it's not synced at all when it comes to the Japanese lip sync because the game is made in English, right? Which way am I going? I'm going the wrong way. I'm an idiot. So the game is actually made in English, but when you put it in Japanese, the lips don't sync. Now, My defense is that sounds like a classic Japanese movie where it was dubbed in English, but it's actually in Japanese. A perfect example of that would be probably the Godzilla films. What do you think?
Possibly.
Oh, there he is.
What's happening?
We were talking about the voice acting in the game. The acting in itself in English and Japanese is really good, but there's often complaint about the lip sync when you play in Japanese because the lip syncs are actually in English, which I was trying to say that to me it's just classic Japanese film if you think about it, because back then
Well, that
when
would
it was
happen with any film if it's dubbed
Lord
in one
Sakai,
language and
welcome back.
spoken in a different language.
Right.
Like you can't avoid it not being,
Samurai at all.
He told you the truth.
you know, it not being synced up, the mouth
He seemed
movement.
harmless.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed having him around. I hope.
But I think the actors did a really good job.
I've seen other games
I'll tell
that
the others he let
they're
on.
speaking English and their mouth's moving in English and their mouth doesn't match up at all anyway.
Yeah. Mass Effect Andromeda.
So I don't know what the complaint is. I mean, they could have animated both in English and Japanese, so that it animates perfectly synced with both languages, but it's
Right.
just minor. You know,
And like I just put the game in Kurosawa mode, and just to get that Japanese authentic classic samurai look to it. But is there anything else? We talked about music, gameplay, story. Customizations.
Let's do a little bit more on the Japanese reaction.
Yes.
Toshihiro Nagoshi of Sega, who was one of the bigwigs. He's also responsible for the Yakuza series, Super Monkey Ball, and at the beginning of his career, Daytona USA. Gave this game high praise, such high praise. It was staggering. He talked about how an American company like Sucker Punch would outdo a Japanese dev in making a Japanese game.
Yes. And the fact that you cannot at this point get this game anywhere physically.
Oh, yeah, that shortage.
Well, I think it's actually interesting because even I feel like that even though that there is a shortage and we could probably blame Sony for that.
Mm-hmm.
Allow me to keep your katana.
I feel like the sales numbers in Japan would have been through the roof.
Balanced, sharp, and deadly.
And there probably still would be a shortage still.
And we still don't even know the digital numbers yet.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't expect so many Japanese gamers to want to play a American game made about Japan. Maybe they underestimated.
Yes.
I think there's a different reason for that. I think that has to. Well, again, I want to say part of that is another video.
Only the best.
I don't think it's a coincidence. Let me leave it at that.
Yes.
So you have ulterior motives and you want to save it for a part 2?
Yeah. You keep that up, I'm gonna give you a part 2 with a golf club.
I'll part my hair with a golf club.
Now, I am going to fast travel to a point here because I really don't feel like walking all the way across the map to go that far. And like I said, I wish that you can actually traverse the map without fast traveling, because there's a couple of castles in the way of doing so in between maps.
I mean, I won't say this game has the smartest AI in history or anything, but the AI do respond appropriately to situations.
Yeah, little things like the enemies will actually watch each other's backs when they are alerted. So it's really hard to sneak up on a couple of enemies like that unless you're up high.
The archers actually get a distance from you so that they can shoot you from afar.
Yes.
And they kind of surround you while the other enemies attack you.
Yes.
They actually
they will actually attack you. Like, say, if you're fighting one guy, they will actually another enemy will attack you from behind. Like,
they also duck when they call out. The other enemies will duck to avoid their arrows.
Yes. Like certain aspects of the AI, especially when it comes to being stealthy, they're pretty dumb. Like, you can be walking across a tile roof that makes noise, but they're oblivious to it. Like, they don't hear anything.
Yeah, that seems to be a thing. Is they really don't look up. That's kind of a thing there. Seems kind of odd.
But yeah, it seems to be what's happening is that the
Straw Hat mercenaries.
See, look at this. He's putting his hand out to touch the tops of the grass. They seem to be pretty dumb when it comes to the stealth, but when it comes to when they know where you are, that's where they can become smart.
Yeah, they start swinging at the grass, looking for you.
Yes.
Attack started here.
Although I think the game does give you a little bit of leeway. They make you far too hidden in the grass. They did the same thing in Horizon Zero Dawn. The grass isn't hiding you really that much, but the game gives you the benefit of the doubt. Because it's a game, so.
Well, I mean,
if
Horizon
you were
Zero
easily detected in the place you're supposed to hide in, then it wouldn't make sense.
Right. Well, in Horizon Zero Dawn, it was like you got this woman with red hair hiding in green grass. Like, how can you not notice that?
It made sense when she's hiding in the red grass.
Yeah.
The red tops, but not so much the other parts.
Like, but I mean, is there anything negative that you want to say about the game? Because I can't really think of much.
They killed my horse.
He's still on the horse.
I was on the fence about the horse, but I'm just on the horse. If they release DLC and kill another horse, that's it. That's all I can take.
They kill your horse 1 out of 10.
You're a mercenary now. Professional warrior.
Horse gate.
Maybe you can help me.
Horse gate.
I'm looking for Evita.
Gate.
Died on Komodo Beach.
I have so many dye flowers now.
I lost a lot of friends.
Never enough, though.
Each dye flower
ton
needs
of
to
customization.
die.
Help me save Lord Shimura.
So, I mean, is there any final thoughts before I end the stream?
Straw Hats are hurt. Starving.
If you have the chance, please buy this game.
Yeah, you will not be disappointed. This is such a great game.
Once we free our home,
But I do,
pay you
in seriousness,
anything you want.
rate this as a 10 out of 10. This is, for me, this is a perfect game.
My men might be interested.
Your men.
I look out for them.
Starved, where would you give it a rating?
Do we have a deal?
I'll think about it.
I don't want to give it a perfect score because, I mean, what is perfect? But decide.
Oh man, I failed that one.
Decide what games are given a perfect score that aren't perfect. I would give them a perfect score. How about that?
What about you, Yules?
I give it like, what did I say before, a 9.7?
Something like that. Alright, well, I'll end the stream when I'll go ahead and play this part, let y'all watch me play this. Oh man. Ouch.
I really wouldn't know.
And I killed the leader. Alright.
Your form has improved.
And you? Beard.
Oh, and that's another little detail that
Did my offer?
go ahead and talk about real quick why this is playing out.
We'll be lucky if we survive the week.
It's that bad.
Is the different animations and ways that he wipes the blood off the sword.
Empty-handed.
Like the gore
Alone. Take me to your cabin.
it's nuts. It really is nuts.
Just like old times.
I mean, they went all out with this is more bloodier than God of War.
God of War 2018.
Yes.
Dang, bear attack.
Go ahead and collect all these here. Yeah, so you need supplies to upgrade your weapons and armor. Supplies seems to be literally your currency in the game.
Here!
Come on.
When was the last time we saw each other?
2 summers ago. Lord Nagao's tournament.
I looked for you after the tournament ended.
Straw Hats saw our duel. They needed a new sword. Seemed like fun.
Why didn't you tell me you were at Komoda?
You were busy with the other samurai lords. I was sharing a drink with my men.
I could have used a drink before that battle.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So, I will go ahead and end it here. I appreciate the time for this review. So, I will catch y'all guys in the next video.